Lastly, how to turn your podcast into profit. And this is kind of the business tip side of things. Now, this is not financial advice. This is not necessarily hardcore business advice. This is personal experience that I am going to convey to you in this portion of the course, and kind of what has worked for me in making this a profitable thing, right? So packaging and selling podcasts as a profitable service. For videographers, podcasts are one of the most scalable and consistent services you can offer to businesses and industry professionals for all the reasons that you guys know now, right? Because we're not just giving them a podcast. We're making them a YouTuber. We're making them a Reels monster. We're increasing their SEO. So that's how you pitch it. We're going to get to the pitch, but by packaging a podcast into clear, repeatable offerings, you can turn one-day shoots into ongoing monthly retainers. That's sustainability right there as a business, if you guys don't know. When you have to pay somebody over and over, that's how businesses scale. Let's take Walmart, Target, for example. You're going there every week, every 2 weeks to get your groceries. That's scalable for them, okay? Landscape companies, you're paying them $100 every 2 weeks to come do the yard. That's scalable, okay? Businesses like real estate offices, banks, law firms, medical practices, and personal brands all need consistent content, but do not want to manage the technical side of themselves. Now, if you downloaded this, if you purchased this course and you are a doctor or a medical professional, and you're like, hey, I do want to do it myself. Well, you can. That's what this course is for. But this side of the course is a little more geared towards if you want to turn this into a service, right? But if you are that real estate agent, doctor, lawyer watching right now, you might see, hey, by learning this craft, I'm going to save myself a little bit of money and learn a new skill. And that's totally fine too. When you handle planning, recording, editing, distribution, and content repurposing, you become a long-term partner instead of a one-off vendor. That's a pretty important distinction because I have some clients at the moment who feel like they can't really live without my service. They're getting a lot of business. They're getting a lot of recognition. They're becoming a thought leader in their field. And in their minds, they've seen the setup. They saw what you guys just saw when we did the production and they haven't seen the editing, but they imagine the editing is really hard and it's no cakewalk. But they're thinking to themselves, wow, I'm making money working with this guy. He's doing all the work. I'll just continue to pay him, right? And smart business owners, they'll write it off. They'll see it as an investment. And, that's where you get your really good clients. So podcast packages create predictable income, deepen client relationships, and allow videographers to leverage the same workflows across multiple clients while delivering massive value. So we create the content, we deliver the content, and we repeat the process, okay? And when it comes to pitching this, you guys can chop and screw it how you want to. You can say, hey, we just do the long form podcast. You're in charge of everything else. That's not the way I would go. You could say, okay, we do the long form podcast. We give you 7 standalone videos. We give you 25 reels, 1 blog post, and you do the distribution. Okay, that's one package. You want us to do the distribution? There's an upsell. You guys see where I'm going with this? You could really start to package it how you wanted to package it. You could say for one price, you get the standalone podcast. You get the 5 videos. That's a price. You want 20 to 35 reels, which people really want those reels. That's an upcharge. You want a blog post that's going to boost your SEO. That's an additional charge. And you can start building these packages out, right? Personally, for me, and we're going to talk about the pitch here, I kind of offer one thing because it's just easier for me. I like to just be like, hey, this is what I do. If you don't want it, I totally understand. No hard feelings. But we can deliver on this if this is something you would like to do. But let's talk about the pitch. Pitching podcast production to clients is one of the smartest moves a videographer can make because it solves multiple problems at once. And it's like the biggest bang for their buck. I should have put that in there. For clients, a podcast provides consistent, high-value content that builds trust, authority, and visibility without requiring them to constantly come up with new ideas. For videographers, it is a repeatable service that naturally fits into monthly retainers instead of one-off projects. Again, guys, I did that for years and years and years. One-off projects are great, but you're kind of always wondering, where's the next one-off project? And sometimes you find yourself worrying, where's the next one-off project? I do not have a 9-to-5 job, by the way. I did not mention that at the beginning of this course, but this is what I do. So I always joke and say, my wife gets a paycheck. I have to go find a paycheck. That's just how my life is. But this allows me to kind of project like, hey, I know I'm going to make X amount of dollars in the next 6 months because I have these contracts, right? Podcast production creates ongoing work through recording, editing, distribution, and content repurposing, making it a service professionals are happy to invest in on a consistent basis. We talked about that. When positioned clearly, a podcast is not just a show. It becomes a reliable marketing engine that clients depend on and a stable revenue stream for you. Again, I'm reading what I wrote, and I'm also talking about it. So we've talked about all that. This is my proposal. This is a real proposal. I did blank out some different things. I did leave the prices there, though. I didn't mean to do that. But, hey, go look at what I charge for a podcast session. And this is normally what I'll do, too, and I'm just going to give you guys the bonus tips, I guess, now, is normally what I do is I fill out the customer. I try to get them to commit to at least 3 months because, again, you got to have that consistency. Without that consistency, it's a moot point, like the whole thing, because you're not going to make a podcast and it's just going to blow up. But if you can get them to, if you can convey this message of like, hey, listen, I know we're pitching it as a podcast, but it's really a content engine. I should probably start using that, but it's really a content engine. We're going to get all this content out for you that you already need. Most of these businesses are already in need of all this stuff, and we're going to take away the work part of it. And that's been a huge thing for me in my pitches. And I'm just good. I should do a whole another course on pitching, but I can really just sell. It's like the Zig Ziglar type of selling where I'm not selling, it's not, snake oil. I'm good at like conveying solutions to problems that they already have. So these clients, they already need all this stuff. They're probably, slaving away at it, or they have an employee that really doesn't want to do it, but they need somebody to do this because they need the blog post. They really need to be posting reels because their competitors are doing this stuff, but are their competitors being this efficient at it? And tying into efficiency in my pitch, maybe one of the number one things that really sells it and almost seals the deal every time is the fact that I'll say this. Listen, it's a lot on me. On you, it's 1 day a month. Or if you really want to get froggy, it's 1 day a quarter. If you can give me 1 full day, and it can be on a Sunday, if you can give me 1 full day a quarter to film with you, it's going to be a little bit of work. You're going to have to plan. You're going to have to, have your thoughts organized. You're going to have to bring in some guests or whatever. You don't have to touch it or think about it for the next 3 months. Now, distribution is a factor there. Are we going to do the distribution? All of my clients do their own distribution, which I'm not opposed to. I've kind of gotten used to that. I deliver everything in like a Dropbox or a Milanote folder. But that is the number one thing I think that seals the deal and is going to help you out. You've got to show them that all that work that you needed to do, that your business needs, give me 1 day a month, give me a few hours of your time, and then I'm going to do all that work. And all you've got to do is worry about posting it. Or if you need us to post it, we can. That seems to be the biggest draw because they know they need it and they know they can do it. But if you're a vet or a lawyer or a, health and wellness coach, you really need to focus on that. Let us focus on the content, or let you, the videographer watching this course right now, focus on the content. It's not going to be the videographer. It's going to be you and your voice. Somebody's just got to do all the editing and all of the technical side of it. So that's a big selling point. I'm going to have a real proposal template that you can download. I would encourage you to definitely switch it up, like make it your own, or just look at it, take a look at it as an example, kind of like how I word everything and how I lay everything out. But yeah, this proposal has been gold for me. It's pretty rare that I have an inquiry that I don't close because number one, I won't even go to the meeting if I sense or know that they're not a good fit because I'm not trying to waste my time or their time. I've had a couple clients that I don't really think we're going to see a return on investment on it, and I didn't feel like had the commitment maybe to do it. And so, there are polite ways to, dodge that client or maybe encourage them to wait or take a different route. But for the most part, if I've had a serious inquiry and I have a sit down meeting with them, I can show them the value. Now, whether they're going to buy is on them. They know it's worth it. At the end of it, they know it's worth it because again, too, another selling point is, listen, let's say you wanted to hire a videographer to just work full time. How much would you have to pay them? In today's industry, between 65 and 120, depending on what state you're in. I don't have a package that even gets halfway that close. So you're going to save half the money. And the other thing too, nothing against full-time videographers out there. They're working for a company, but and I've been in this position, you tend to get a little comfortable. With me, I want to keep your business. I want to keep getting paid and keep making your content. So that's going to keep me highly motivated. It's a lot easier to fire a subcontractor than to fire and rehire a full-time videographer that's on benefits and has been there for 4 years and you have a relationship with them. I'm a lot more easy to fire, so it keeps me pretty motivated to make sure your content is delivered in the way it should be every single time. So, all to say, you can use all this information to go into your pitch, and if you're interested in me putting together a course on proposals and pitch, let me know. I'd love to do that. I could ramble on about it for days, and I have probably 500 different examples that I can pull from. So 1 year's worth of content. This is more for your pitch, but let's say they're doing 2 episodes a month, 1 session a month, or the quarter thing, the quarterly taping thing, if you will. Getting 24 episodes. They're getting 48 YouTube videos. That's a lot of YouTube videos. 240 reels on the conservative side. I would say more like 500 reels. That's how many we produce for our own show. 24 blog posts, 24 audio podcasts, up to 16 platforms if you count all the audio, video, and social media. And in turn, more followers, more customers, more influence, more of whatever they're after, right? So yeah, that's the whole thing there. Now, another thing I did put together for you guys, and again, this is a little bit generic because I don't know what your situation is, but I put together a 3-month or 1 quarter podcast weekly roadmap, and you can download that. But the roadmap is designed to give you a clear, realistic path to launching and maintaining a successful podcast without burnout. It's a key distinction, right? By bashing 2 episodes per month and releasing on a consistent bi-weekly schedule. Also, it's a whole another point I should add is if you're doing this for yourself, start bi-weekly. Even start monthly, Just get your feet wet. Don't overload yourself right at the beginning. You create momentum while keeping the workload manageable. The weekly structure helps you stay organized, build repeatable systems, and develop confidence on both the production and hosting side. By the end of the 3 months, your podcast will no longer feel like a side project, but a reliable content engine that, with a proven workflow, you can sustain long term. Again, a bunch of stuff that I've already told you guys, but it bears repeating. Once you get in the flow of this stuff, it really is a rinse and repeat type of system. And it's a lot of fun because, and here's the other thing too, it's like, oh, it's monotonous. You're doing the same thing over and over, but the conversations are different every time. So it makes the whole process feel different. Yes, the editing can be repetitive, but like you guys saw in the editing portion of this course, you're in the conversation again, either for a second, third time, whatever. Or even if you have somebody in your company that's doing the taping, you're in the conversation for the first time. And you can really use film techniques to steer the eye of the viewer, like where you want them to be looking and who you want them to be listening to. So even the editing is like pretty refreshing each time. So anyway, download this 3-month little guide a roadmap, if you will. Just for his reference, if it works for you right out the box, hey, awesome. Let me know in the comments if you want to download it, copy and paste out of it, totally rewrite it, or just know that, creating more planning, the better. I mean, that's just like age-old philosophy, I guess you would say. Like architects plan. Construction companies, they plan a ton before they ever start to, put down concrete. And in film, they always say you should use 70% of it should be the planning, the scripting. And then that last 30, you're actually going to get out there and film the show or the movie. So, use it how you want to. And the last thing I want to leave you guys with is to just get out there and start the conversation. The most important step now is simply to start the conversation. Don't wait for perfect gear, perfect timing, or perfect confidence, because clarity and momentum only come from doing. Let me read that sentence again, guys, because that right there, if you don't take away anything but this, you're going to be totally fine. Because I was totally fine, but I didn't wait for perfect gear. I didn't wait for perfect timing, and I didn't wait for perfect confidence, because clarity and momentum only come from doing. And that is the gospel, in my opinion. Every great podcast began with a first episode that wasn't perfect, but was published anyway. Get out there, hit record, ask good questions, and let conversations do the heavy lifting. The more you show up, the better you'll get, and the faster your podcast will turn into something meaningful, consistent, and impactful. And one other thing that's not in there that I would like to say to you is have fun. I have a ton of fun making my podcast. I have a ton of fun helping others get their story out there. And at the end of the day, yes, it can be a profitable business. Yes, it can bring you notoriety. Yes, it's a way to, seek out your corner of fame. But life is more about enjoying the process, enjoying the journey. So I would say just have fun with it, because it is a ton of fun. I get so much fulfillment out of filming my own podcast, and I really look forward to it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for purchasing this course and sticking with a guy who has never made a course. So this is my first course, but I think I packed as much information into one place as possible, and I do think you'll get a lot of value out of it. Again, you got to get out there and start doing it, and maybe you can teach me something. So anyway, I hope that you and your podcast are super successful. Please let me know in the comments if any of this was helpful and for other content you want to see in the future. And happy podcasting.